From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, July 18th, 2018. Silver is trading at $15.44 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,224 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $26, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,456. Antiwar.com reports while Secretary of the Treasury Steve Mnuchin says that exemptions from U.S. sanctions against Iran will be considered in certain cases, the European Union is apparently not going to be one of them. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo confirmed that he has rejected EU appeals for Iran exemptions. Senior officials from Britain, France, and Germany have all urged the U.S. not to apply the sanctions to EU nations' companies when they start going into effect next month. The EU has passed laws rejecting U.S. sanctions and forbidding their companies from complying with them. Pompeo and Mnuchin told the EU, however, they want unprecedented financial pressure on Iran and that they will not ease any sanctions until they see a tangible change in Iranian policy. Mnuchin says that exemptions are only possible in very specific circumstances where it clearly benefits our national security. He suggested nations that need more time to wind down oil purchases from Iran could be given more time, for instance. India is expected to push hard for such measures, or barring that, a move by the U.S. to release oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to keep oil prices from skyrocketing when Iran is cut off. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. UPI reports the U.S. Treasury Department and IRS announced Monday certain tax-exempt organizations will no longer be required to provide personally identifiable information about donors. Under the change, nonprofit organizations such as labor unions, volunteer fire departments, issue advocacy groups, local chambers of commerce, veterans groups, and community service clubs will no longer be required to list the names and addresses of their donors on Schedule B of their annual returns. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin said Americans should not be required to send the IRS information that it doesn't need in order to effectively enforce our tax laws, and the IRS simply does not need tax returns with donor names and addresses to do its job in this area. Previously, Congress directed the IRS to collect donor information of contributors who gave at least $5,000 to charities that accept tax-deductible contributions. The IRS received a full version of the information, while redacted forms were released publicly. Mnuchin said the change will in no way limit transparency, and the same information will still be made available to the public while protecting donor information. He said this new policy for certain tax-exempt organizations will make our tax system simpler and less susceptible to abuse. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky praised the decision as a positive development for political donors, saying this decision by the IRS is a move in the right direction to end activist regulators' culture of intimidation to silence political speech. More and more states were using these documents to chill political discourse rather than encourage it. House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi said the decision would give the IRS fewer tools to determine whether affected groups are following the law. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. Reuters reports 4 U.S. states sued the federal government on Tuesday to void a new $10,000 cap on federal deductions for state and local taxes included in President Donald Trump's 2017 tax overhaul. The lawsuit by New York, Connecticut, Maryland, and New Jersey came 7 months after Trump signed the $1.5 trillion overhaul passed by the Republican-led Congress, which cut taxes for wealthy Americans and slashed the corporate tax rate. Critics have said the cap would disproportionately harm blue states that tilt Democrat. Tuesday's lawsuit adds that many legal battles between such states, including several with high tax rates, and the Trump administration, which was accused of unconstitutionally intruding on state sovereignty by imposing the cap. Taxpayers have long typically enjoyed unlimited federal deductions for state and local taxes. Under the cap, individuals and married taxpayers filing jointly who itemize deductions may deduct up to only $10,000 annually for state and local income, property, and sales tax. This has been FPP Radio News, online at FPPRadio.com.